Hello, dear listener. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and enjoy watching. There's a particular kind of emptiness that settles over a man when he discovers his wife's betrayal. It's not rage, not at first. It's not an explosion of fury. It's something colder, a quiet stillness that grips your chest, refusing to be shaken off. It lingers, heavy and suffocating, like the walls of your world closing in, slow and deliberate. That's exactly how it felt when I learned the truth about Emma. She wasn't just my wife. She was my everything. We had known each other since childhood, growing up side by side because our parents were best friends. We went to the same college, fell in love, and by the time we turned 25, we were married. Everything about our story seemed perfect, until it wasn't. At first, I had no clue. You believe you know someone, that you can predict their every move, every thought. Then, one day, something small shifts, barely noticeable at first, but it plants a seed of doubt. Suddenly, every moment you've shared feels uncertain, like a puzzle where the pieces no longer fit. Emma had always been the ideal wife, at least on the surface. Thoughtful, kind, and meticulous. She turned our house into a home, made sure every meal was cooked, every detail in place. And she loved me, or so I believed. But over the past few months, subtle changes crept in. She started working late more often. Her phone, which once lay unlocked without a second thought, now had a passcode I wasn't privy to. She spoke of her colleague Daniel, with a certain sparkle in her eyes, a light that wasn't there when she talked about me. And worst of all, she became overly considerate, too careful around me, as if she were stepping on thin ice. That was the first tug of unease deep in my gut, a warning, one I didn't want to acknowledge. I told myself I was overthinking, that I was imagining things. But then, everything unraveled in a single night. I had returned early from a business trip, wanted to surprise Emma. I couldn't explain it, but something in me insisted I had to be there that night. As I pulled into the driveway, I noticed a car parked outside. Unfamiliar, dark, the license plate obscured. A strange unease prickled at my skin as I stepped inside. Emma was in the kitchen, her back turned to me, oblivious to my presence. And standing behind her was Daniel, his hand resting on her shoulder in a way no mere colleague would. For a moment, I just stood there, frozen. They were laughing, a soft, intimate sound. Emma's face lit up with a glow I hadn't seen in months, a joy I wasn't cause of, and then they kissed. It wasn't a casual brush of lips, not a fleeting, innocent mistake. No, this was the kind of kiss that spoke volumes, the kind you only give when a line has already been crossed, a line that could never be undone. I could have barged in, demanded an explanation, shattered the illusion with a single outburst. I could have raged, destroyed, let my fury consume the moment. But I didn't. I didn't make a sound. I simply turned around and walked out. That was the beginning of the end. But it wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the silence. The space between us, filled with unspoken truths and unacknowledged betrayal, suffocating in its weight. She never brought it up. I didn't either. For days, we lived in a fragile charade. Her pretending to love me, to smile, to kiss me as if nothing had changed. But I knew, and when I knew, I realized I wasn't going to let it go, not without making her feel the weight of what she had done. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed to wait. I needed a plan. The more I reflected on everything, the more I understood. Revenge wasn't about rage. It was about control. The key was making her believe she still held the upper hand. I needed to be the husband who brushed things off, who remained calm and composed. That's how I would win. So I played the role flawlessly. I became the perfect spouse once more, attentive, gentle, affectionate. I let her believe she had successfully deceived me. But beneath that mask, I was plotting, always a step ahead, while she remained blissfully unaware. I started with subtle moves. I tracked when she met Daniel, pinpointing the exact moments they were together. Then I planted seeds of doubt, cryptic messages, anonymous texts, fake accounts designed to make her question who knew, who was watching. I ensured Daniel's name kept surfacing in unexpected places, slowly weaving paranoia into her mind. But that was just the beginning. The real game started when I decided to control her every move. I created fake business trips, claiming I'd be away for days. In reality, I never left. I followed her. I watched in the shadows as she slipped away to meet him, lurking in dimly lit alleys, seedy motels, places I never imagined she'd go. She never noticed me, just beyond her reach, always observing. And it was intoxicating, the power of knowing I was the one pulling the strings. Then came the masterpiece of my plan. I orchestrated the perfect setup. A work event at a hotel, entirely fabricated. I ensured Daniel would be there, arranging it so they'd have their moment, believing they were in the clear. I waited patiently as she arrived, elegantly dressed, thinking it was a professional engagement, but she had no idea that everything was a trap. The hotel staff, and on it, the event, a complete illusion. Every guest in that ballroom, actors, part of the deception. By the time she realized something was off, it was too late. The grand room was empty, the lights dimmed. She stood there, utterly alone, except for me. I didn't storm in with rage. I didn't throw accusations. Instead, I calmly asked her to explain. She tried. Oh, how she tried. Excuses, lies, desperate attempts to deny the truth. But I had everything. The proof, the evidence, the undeniable reality that shattered her facade. And I let the silence devour her, let the weight of her guilt crush the space between us. Then she broke. She confessed everything, pleaded for my forgiveness. That's when I delivered the final blow, the revelation that the game was over. But I wasn't finished. I didn't just walk away. No, I made sure she felt every ounce of betrayal she had inflicted. I stripped her of everything she valued. Her financial security? Gone. I drained her accounts. Her carefully curated image? Erased. I wiped out her social media presence. Her reputation? Shattered, both professionally and personally. And as for Daniel, I made sure he was out of the equation too. I left him a single message. No threats, no anger. Just a simple truth. She will never be yours. When she tried to reach him, to cling to the last shred of hope, she found nothing. No response. No comfort. She was truly, completely alone. And here's the ultimate irony. After I dismantled her world, after I stripped her of everything she held dear, she came crawling back. She begged. She sobbed. She pleaded for another chance. But by then, the battle had already been won. She had nothing left to bargain with. As I stood there, watching her crumble, I understood something. She had never truly been mine. Not in the way I once believed. And the final twist? The real revenge wasn't in ruining her life. It was in the crushing realization that she had never broken me. I had destroyed her, and there was no coming back from that.